And coming up here on Newsnight in the next 60 minutes, after days of push for recognition, battle for supremacy, the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists have called off their nationwide strike with immediate effect following a parliamentary intervention.
NEC would like to assure all members that their matter remains legitimate and will continue to pursue it for proper and effective redress at the national level. So effective today, the strike has been called off as a result of the high respect we have for the committee.
We'll go live to Parliament, where consultations have been ongoing between the Ghana Medical Association and the lab scientists and the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, but also medical laboratory scientists in the central region accuse public health facilities there of employing what they describe as quacks to do the work of lab scientists. We'll bring you details.
Also, President Akufo-Addo targets the #1 sport in the African press freedom ranking as he condemns attack on journalists but demands professionalism and high ethical standards from the media.
It cannot be right, no matter where in the world, the journalists are physically attacked or prevented from doing their work. Once that happens, it is an attack on media freedom, and it must be roundly condemned by all.
But the poor conditions of service for most media practitioners dominates discussion.
Even the slave wages of journalists are in arrears. And this survivor instinct does not justify the proneness of any poorly paid, heavily owed, or zero salaried journalists to be cheaply bought, easily compromised.
But the big question is the Ghanaian media practitioner living in fear?
The attacks on reporters. We shouldn't be seeing them in this day and era because they are getting too many.
I think I'm very careful and mindful. I have come to terms with the fact that the work I do would attract attention.
And in business, government optimistic workings of the National Development Bank will help reduce Ghana's debt stock to appreciable levels.
And in sport, J.E. Sapon veteran coach says the fact that C.K. Akono opted for a foreign coach as his assistant means he has backstabbed local coaches. And also, we have updates on the England squad that's been named. Mason Greenwood does not make it.
Gary will bring us details of that later in sports here on Newsnight. You can join us with the views and comments here on WhatsApp 05511119997. If you're watching on Facebook, you can leave your comments there. And later, Emefa.
In the bulletin, what role does music play in a quiz in prize to senior high school draws inspiration from Osibisa's 1971 classic song, Woyaya? As they say, they will sing it at every contest to guide them to win the main competition in October. And that's on when we bring you National Science and Maths quiz later. Thanks for your company tonight. And the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists has called off its strike over what they say are efforts to make doctors their superiors in various hospitals. But disagreements remain between them and the Ghana Medical Association. We can listen to President of the association, Dr. Abu Rahmani, announce the decision to call off a strike at an ongoing meeting with Parliament Health Committee.
The National Executive Council of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists having met on an emergency meeting held on Tuesday, 1st June 2021 at the Oceanic Hotel, Accra, have resolved as follows: that we have taken charge of the industrial action staged by the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital chapter of the association and its related action. We have also considered the recent ruling of an Accra-based High Court and the goodwill we have received from the Parliament Select Committee on Health and the Ministry of Health to help resolve all the issues that caused the industrial action. We therefore wish to appeal to our members of the CAT chapter of the Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, as well as all the regional chapters who took action in solidarity with CAT to remain calm and return to work so that NEC will have an opportunity to review all the matters arising out of the occurrence for further decision to be taken going further. NEC would like to assure all members that their matter remains legitimate and will continue to pursue it for proper and effective redress at the national level. So effective today, the strike has been called off. As a result of the high respect we have for the committee, the strike has been called off. Oh, certainly, we will certainly advise our members. It is the members who take action. And just as it was presented here, if condition remains as it is, and we do not see much change, we have a lot of trust for the committee. And like they indicated, we do not want to place conditionality to them. But we hope that this time round, unlike the previous time, this time round we'll receive a very favorable response.
So that is the president of the laboratory scientists, the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, Dr. Abu Ramani. Let's go live to Parliament now and speak to correspondent Joseph Opoku Gato. Joseph, first, tell us about the stakeholders who were present at this meeting called by the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. Hello, Joseph. Can you hear me?
Ernest, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so who was there at this meeting?
A number of stakeholders are present here. Actually, the meeting is still ongoing as we speak. Officials from the Health Ministry, including the Chief Director and the Legal Advisor of the Ministry, as well as officials from the Health Regulatory, the Health Facilities Regulatory Authority, HEFA, they are present here. Officials from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, the College of Physicians and Surgeons, as well as the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, and then representatives from the Ghana Medical Laboratory Scientists Association, and then the Ghana Medical Association are all present here, and they've been doing their presentations to the committee in turn.
Joseph, I want us to talk about the point at which they were asked to declare their strike over. Tell us about the circumstances leading to that, press conference that was taken, during that meeting at Parliament House.
And so the Medical Association officials were given the first opportunity to do their presentation on the specific concerns that they have for which they had declared the strike. They had indicated that they are worried about situations where leadership in various labs are being taken over by medical doctors. A lot of their officials have not seen promotions to the level of directors at those levels, who they thought was very much out of place. They said that the situation could result in an explosion if care wasn't taken. They've been making a number of demands, including what they say are clear lines of progression. They've been asking that their representatives and the officials at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital, who have actually been taken out of the leadership race, be reinstated. And they've been asking for a clear structure for growth. And they want various lab assistants who have allegedly been threatened brought back and allowed to then go on with their work. So they enumerated all these demands before the committee members, and the chairman of the committee, Dr. Uefriye, insisted that if the committee can go ahead and deliberate further on the issue, they need to go ahead and declare the strike over, which they eventually did. Dr. Abu Ramani, who is president of the association, has been insisting that they would want to see certain specific demands met, including a situation where they would have their own spaces to work in, separate from the spaces that the medical officials work in, as a way to ensure harmony going forward.
We've put across even petitions to the ministry for even a national college for medical laboratories for specialization into consultancy grades. So as we talk, we have over 85 specialists in the country, already more than specializations from the college in this area. And we want us to curtail all this just because we want our work to be supervised by physicians. I think I'm putting this across because I want us to feel what led to all the explosion that we are seeing, because we've been under pressure for a long time. We think that we are skilled enough, we can lead ourselves, we are of age, and we should be allowed to be on our own. One of our guys said, marriage is not by force. If you want to marry us, you should talk to us with respect. That's the way you owe a lady to marriage. Not you don't castigate the lady, you harm the lady, but you want the lady to be with you, and when you come, he should smile. This is part of the issue that happened. The notion that lab professionals sacked doctors from the lab is not the fact. When they came around for training, we said, you insult us in public, you castigate our results, you send it to private sector, you cut down IGF, we want a policy, you shoot it down. We want to progress. For a long time, we're capped as certificate and diploma holders. Until 2000, when training in degree started, by the same members from the college. And you want to come and say, let's teach you to hold a pipette. The person does not have the heart to do that. So when you come, we fold our arms.
So, Emefa, that is Ignatius Abunawuno, the former president of the association, flanked by the current president and other executives of the Ghana Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists, making that presentation. Joseph is still with us on the line. Joseph, the GMA was also there. What were the arguments?
The General Secretary of the GMA, Dr. Justice Youngson, did a very lengthy presentation on behalf of the association. He's been insisting that when it comes to operations in the laboratories, there are a lot of other health professionals who operate within the space beyond the lab technicians themselves. And he's been insisting that when it comes to decisions on who leads in those departments, this is something that should specifically be left to management, and the professional who should do that is a decision that management should be taking. And what he's calling for is that going forward, the space should be created for their officials, including the medical folks, to be able to work within the space of the labs without any form of intimidation, he claims.
A certain impression was created that the attempt to get clinical hematologists at Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital is one that has been orchestrated by the Ghana Medical Association, probably in cahoots with the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons. What it is that the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons has been established to train specialist medical doctors who are members of the Ghana Medical Association. The countries need specialist care. It is the position that Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital at some point wanted to be a teaching site, for which reason the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons had to do accreditation. And we as GMA, we are very happy with that because it gives our members another space within which to train beyond Kolebu. And as part of that exercise, it came to light that as a very high-level training institution, the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons will need a certain basic minimum of expert consultants to train people who want to be specialists. For which reason, a requirement or a checklist, including the need for clinical hematologists, was given out. That is not to say that that checklist means that clinical hematologists will be trained to take over from medical laboratory scientists. We believe that we work together. But for the progress of our profession, laboratory medicine should never, never be curtailed by any other group of persons, and they should be allowed to practice. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Youngson there, the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association. Joseph, earlier, the Health Minister had wanted the meeting to be held in camera. What was his reason? Hello, Joseph. Joseph, are you still with us on the line? Hello? Oh, we seem to be having...
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now, Joseph. Earlier, the Health Minister, who is at this meeting, wanted an in-camera meeting. What was the reason he gave to the chairman of the committee?
Ernest, the reason given by the Health Minister was that these deliberations were supposed to be a family affair, and that they didn't want to kind of watch their dirty lining out there in the public, which is how come they felt that it was necessary to go ahead and deliberate on it within closed doors. But the chairman of the committee, Dr. UFE, responded and insisted that this is a matter of public concern, and the minister himself is just a witness in the matter and not necessarily a party to the case. So he was going to go ahead with the public hearing, which has since continued over the last 4 hours or so. And now, officials of the health ministry, minus the minister himself, are currently before the committee, even as the committee members interrogate them. I've pulled out the ranking member on the committee, Kobna Minta Kando, the MP for Jabo, so we're getting a quick comment from him. Are you nearing a resolution of the issues, or there is probably a longer way to go going forward?
Yeah, we still have. So far, we have listened to all the parties involved. We have listened to the Ghana Medical Association of Lab Scientists. We have listened to the GMA. And after that, we put together the HEFRA, the ministry, and other stakeholders. And then we are putting to them the positions of the striking people and that of GMA to also receive their comments on it.
So after you hear from all these officials, how will the committee help resolve the issues, especially when both sides, particularly the GMA, the medical lab scientists, have taken entrenched positions and insisted that their positions are right based on what they've been arguing for the last few years?
It is not about what each party wants to be done. It is about what will bring peace and harmony to the system. And we are here to work in the best interest of the nation. We have already admonished them to do away with entrenched positions on the matter. So from here, what we are going to do is that we will seek for further clarifications on issues. If there's a need for us to bring all of them together again, we will do that. We will also consult the leadership of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, and what have you. Then we may have to invite them back. There's a bit, it's a bit longer. Some processes.
At any time, like when there will be a resolution, because the medical lab science have indicated that they are calling off the strike, but they look forward to a quick resolution sometime soon. Otherwise, then they can't hold off their members in terms of independence.
We shouldn't be in a rush because we need to find a permanent solution to this matter, and it has to do with a lot of stakeholders. So we must take our time and go through the process so that at the end of the resolution, we have a permanent solution to the matter. So that is what we are seeking to do at the moment.
That's the ranking member on Parliament.
Well, Joseph, if he's still with you, just so he doesn't move, would want to know what happens to the processes before the National Labour Commission. Has that been suspended so that Parliament can look into this fully?
Yes, I think that issue largely had to do with the fact that they were still striking. And for now, the strike has been called off. So we invited the Labour Commission also, as you saw him, but because they've rescinded or they've decided to go back to the laboratories, I think that case may be moot.
Very well. Thank you very much. That's the ranking member on Parliament Health Committee, Kobna Minta Kando, who is at that meeting called by them to resolve the impasse between the Ghana Medical Association and the Ghana Medical Laboratory Scientists. We know that this started from the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. This has been called off, and all the regional bodies, the chapters, have also been asked to go back to work. So hopefully tomorrow, if you go to the hospital, if you have some labs to run, these guys will be there to serve you.
Well, and we're hoping that this committee will be able to bring an end to this situation that has been raging since 2013. But whilst they call off the strike, though, the medical laboratory scientists in the central region, they've accused the public health facilities there of employing what they describe as quacks to do the work of the lab scientists whilst they were on strike. We can hear from the central regional chairman of the association, Samuel Amwa, speaking to Richard Kojo.
We had an information. My task force who went to the facility had information that there are 2 casuals who are non-licensed casuals working in the laboratory in the absence of the professionals who are licensed. So we warned them to leave, and then they locked the place and they left. But subsequently we realized that they do go there and work. So we issue a warning letter from the regional executive council that they are not supposed to work. And when we come back and see that they are working, we will report them to the necessary authorities. We were supposed to cooperate the police, but upon advice, we were asked to inform the regulatory body, that is the Allied Health Professions Council. So we informed the Allied Health Professions Council. They have taken details of the facility and everything, and they will now act. We have a similar report from the Kaswa Polyclinic. Then also, even in Cape Coast, we've heard that the leprosaurium and also Kisi Health Center. They are all working with people who are not qualified to work at the facility. So we are also following up on them, and at the appropriate time we will inform council about it. Once the lab scientists are on strike, they are the licensed people to work there. The law does not allow you to get somebody who is not licensed to work there. That is the main. That is why we have informed the regulatory authority. When we're able to confirm that there are such people working there, then the right thing to do is to inform the regulatory authority so that they also come in and sanction them.
So the strike is still in force in the region?
As we speak now, we've not got any message or any message from our national leaders in the country. So we are still on the strike.
So this is an interview he had with Richard Kojo earlier. That was prior to that committee hearing this afternoon. And that was prior to the leadership of the association calling off that nationwide action.
Yes, and Emefa will stay in the central region because the Ase North MP, Joe Jache Kwesen, has written to the Chief Justice to prevail on the judge sitting on his case to recuse himself. You recall that his counsel, Abraham Amaleba, recused himself because he claimed that the judge had made certain comments that were prejudicial and he was not confident the judge was going to, administer justice or deliver justice. Today, the case was in court and Sami Jemfi, who is the National Communications Officer, was there as well. He reiterated the point that the judge needs to recuse himself.
We can hear from Richard Kujunyaku, who was in court. He has more in the following report.
On Tuesday, when the case was called, Abraham Amaleba reminded the court once he's written to the court of his withdrawal from the case, it means he is no longer a party in the matter, and that the MP, as processes of court demands, ought to be served and notified for him to get a legal representation in court. The court thus ordered Abraham Amaleba to facilitate the service of the MP so the court processes could continue. Present in court were the NDC National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, the National Communication Officer Sami Jemfi. Sami Jemfi addressed the media saying they have petitioned the Chief Justice to prevail on the judge to recuse himself from the case because he is purported to have made comments prejudicial to the trial.
This is one important issue that the court will have to determine in this matter. But the statements the presiding judge made in court that day showed that he had already taken a position even before counsel addressed him on that important issue. And so because of the likelihood that there will be bias and that the first respondent will not have a fair hearing before this presiding judge, counsel made an oral application for the presiding judge to recuse himself, which he heard in chambers and turned down. Subsequently, the petitioner himself, the first respondent himself, has petitioned the Chief Justice of Ghana to appeal for him to intervene in the matter and ensure that the judge recuses himself so that justice will not only be done, but justice will be seen to have been done in this matter at the end of it.
The representative of the petitioner, Richard Techimensa, says the NDC just want to muddy the waters and create situations where there aren't any. According to him, there hasn't been anywhere in the course of the trial that the judge, Justice Kwesi Boakye, made the comments Mr. Amaleba purports he's made. They believe it's just a ploy to delay the case.
It's a clear attempt for them to delay the case, but they cannot do this in perpetuity. And we've been in court on daily basis, and you are all bear as witness that there hasn't been any day in court that the judge has made the comments that they are saying that he has made. It is just a trumped up charge against the judge. We have never heard him, and they say that we were all in court, and the media people were in court. Tell us when the judge made this comment. This comment has never and ever come from the judge. That's why did Mr. James Jachikwesi did not finish with renunciation of his station before filing. This has never come from the judge. It is just something that they are cooking up. But when Amaleba raised this issue and they went to chambers, the judge overruled and asked for evidence.
When Mr. Amaleba alleged that the judge had made comments that predetermines the matter, he could not support his allegation with evidence, and the judge dismissed the allegation. The case has been adjourned to the 8th of June, where the MP, George Achikwesin, would have been served and would have found a legal representation as well. Richard Kojo, Joy News, Cape Coast.
You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll get to go through some of your comments that you've sent in via WhatsApp. It's 055-1111-997. Those of you also watching on Facebook, you've left your comments there as well. We'll go through them. But Ghana is currently ranked 3rd and 30th on the Africa and Global Press Freedom Index, respectively. But government has an ambitious plan to occupy the first spot. That's according to President Akufo-Addo, who is upbeat about a vibrant and unfettered media. For him, that's the most effective way to hold government and society to the highest standards of honesty, self-discipline, and delivery.
While addressing Africa Journalists Leadership Conference underway in Accra, President Akufo-Addo said, though vilified by a section of the Ghanaian media, he is unapologetic about the repeal of the criminal libel law.
Our aim is to be number one on the continent, and we will work hard to ensure we attain this. I believe a vibrant and unfettered media is the most effective way to hold government and society to the highest standards of honesty, self-discipline, and delivery. Indeed, on 2nd August 2001, in the government of that outstanding Ghanaian statesman, His Excellency John Ajikun Kufuor, a historic victory was won in the struggle of the Ghanaian people for liberty, and especially for freedom of expression by the repeal of the criminal libel law. I'm proud of the modest role I played in the process of repeal of the criminal libel law. The repeal of the criminal libel law has had a very positive impact on the development of the Ghanaian media, freeing it from unnecessary self-censorship and promoting a robust and critical media culture. Even as one of the public figures most persistently vilified in sections of the Ghanaian media, who ironically was the principal actor in the repeal of the law, I continue to insist that its repeal was necessary in the public interest in our emerging democracy. I maintain that I prefer a boisterous, even reckless media to a supine one.
And Emefa, Ghana has recorded several attacks on journalists, the recent one being the attack on City FM, City TV journalist Caleb Kuda by national security operatives. Well, President Akufo-Addo is condemning such attacks, but he says, critique of the works of journalists cannot be interpreted as an attack on media freedoms.
It is also important to consider some of the emerging challenges to media freedom. One of them is what constitutes an attack on media freedom. It cannot be right, no matter where in the world the journalists are physically attacked or prevented from doing their work. Once that happens, it is an attack on media freedom, and it must be roundly condemned by all. As George Orwell rightly puts it, and I quote, "Freedom of the press, if it means anything at all, means the freedom to criticize and oppose," unquote. However, there seems to be an emerging narrative which is being proffered by some in Ghana that critiquing the work of a journalist constitutes an attack on media freedom. That certainly cannot be described as an attack on media freedom. Having the freedom to criticize and oppose should also mean that the media is ready to accept and work with criticisms of its work by the citizenry or officialdom. That, for me, is one of the surest ways of improving the public discourse of our respective countries, and we should all strive towards realizing this.
President Akufo-Addo there.
Well, other issues were brought to the fore at that ongoing forum, and we can hear from the Ghana Journalists Association current president Afil Money describing as unacceptable the poor working conditions of majority of media practitioners in the country.
An issue which should be tackled with all-absorbing attention and all-consuming seriousness is the precarious working conditions of journalists in Africa. In instances too numerous to cite, even the slave wages of journalists are in arrears. And in scenarios tearfully painful to recall, some journalists are not paid at all. A famous Ghanaian parlance has it that man must eat or man must survive. And this survival instinct explains, but does not justify, the proneness of any poorly paid, heavily owed, or zero-salaried journalists to be cheaply bought, easily compromised, or willfully become a chief of mischief. The Director General of GBC, Professor Amin Ahassan, rightly asserted yesterday during a case call by 5 leaders that poorly paid journalists are a threat to democracy. Simply put, we cannot reverse the democratic retrogression on the continent or deodorize the democratic stench.
DJ President Afel Money there, and you're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7.
George
is here.
Paid.
No, George
so
is well paid.
To democracy.
Absolutely.
Okay. Hello, George. Well paid, George. Welcome.
Hi. You have to consider donating to charity in the future.
I'm here.
Well, in other countries, if you donate to charity, you get a lot of returns in terms of tax reliefs and all the rest.
So you do that? You consider doing that?
Obviously, if the necessary tax benefits comes along in doing that, that's why some people even give all their wealth to charity. And also, it's about the Christian duty as well. When you are helping others with the means, and God is going to bless you.
God bless you.
Thank God you're not disputing that you're well paid. Great.
Well, coming up in business, government optimistic workings of the National Development Bank will help reduce Ghana's total debt stock to appreciable levels. And the country's heavy borrowing set to hit hard on its reserves in the coming months as Bank of Ghana begins huge payments to the state from next half of this year. We'll get you more details on this and the implications for the economy. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, and Alliance Live.
Hello, please, am I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
oh dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure, always check the number. MTN will only call you with a dedicated number, 0244 300,000. Stay safe, stay vigilant. We are good together everywhere you go.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Allianz, insurance since 1890. At Allianz Life Ghana, we have a wide range of life insurance packages to suit all pockets, from individuals, groups, associations, and businesses. We cover your employees, your funerals, pensions, children's education, and your future. Call us on 0302 267 892 or visit our website www.alliance-gh.com for more inquiries. Alliance Life, we secure your future.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, government is optimistic that the workings of the National Development Bank could go a long way to reduce Ghana's total debt stock to unappreciable levels. The bank is expected to provide long-term funding to some critical sectors of the economy and is expected to take off from July, that is this year. The Finance Ministry argues that the bank may take on financing of some projects which were previously put on the books of government. Samson Agliko is Director of Financial Sector Division at the Ministry of Finance.
The European Investment Bank facility and the World Bank facility is actually a debt neutral policy. We're actually creating an asset. And anybody who understands the way this works knows that, this is something that we will leverage on to really get our economy to grow and put us in a better debt sustainability path. One of the key philosophical things it will do is that it's going to de-risk the public sector. It's going to shift some of the burden that the public, if today, a lot of a lot of things rest on the public finance. So if you want to talk about debt sustainability, you have to look at the things that is being done so that we can de-risk some of the things, shift some to the private sector model, and then, of course, if you look at the long-term path, you will get more like a sustainable, maybe a sustainable framework. But
Samson Agliko is Director of the Financial Sector Division at the Ministry of Finance. Now, government's heavy borrowings over the past year is said to hit hard on the country's international reserves. Now, this is because the Bank of Ghana will in the coming months actually begin repaying some of these loans that are due. The country's reserves currently stands at $11 billion. But Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, is worried about the possible impact of these payments on the economy.
Say that the projected outflows for the year are also quite significant. So yes, we have an 11 billion reserves, but we also have quite heavy loan repayments to undertake in 2021. We are currently looking at the projected build-up for 2021. This is the work that we are trying to do, and we are struggling to build up reserves in 2021, even though we have an 11 billion gross reserves as of the end of May. It tells you the burden of debt, of amortization of debt and interest payments that we have for the rest of the year.
And that's the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. The Ghana Stock Exchange has joined hands with Stanford C's Transformation Network to help raise funds for its members. The deal or the partnership would also leverage on their close agreement to help other businesses to the network raise funds on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Ekwafezi, its Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange.
An alternative market in particular is important for this group, that is the SCN, as it will provide a preferred platform for SMEs and other medium-sized companies to raise the needed long-term capital to expand and grow their businesses. So it's important that companies that are under STN utilize the market for their financing needs. This MOU will make the exchange provide relevant market data and co-sponsor market awareness and sensitization workshops for companies under the SCN.
And Ekwafezi is the Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange. Now, over the past 30 years, Mr. Afezi also says that the exchange has helped raise over 16 billion Ghana cedis for that is various firms that are linked to the exchange as well as on the bond market. Let's get to some story that is coming in. The Finance Ministry has denied reports that two firms linked to the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta and Minister of State Charles Dubois have been appointed as advisors to the ministry, but according to a statement from the ministry responding to a social media article, the ministry stated that Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta and Mr. Dubois have all resigned buying from these companies is mentioned, that is a Data Bank and Black Star Brokerage. It states that these two firms independently secured license as bond market specialists based on their historical performance on the bond market and no other consideration. And Kojo Manu, you've been going through the statement, a lengthy one, and there are other excerpts that you want to share with us.
Yes, and before we go through the statement, this is not just a story on social media. The Member of Parliament, Honorable Isaac Adongo, who is also on the Finance Committee, actually addressed the media in Parliament today and made those claims. We want to listen to him, and then we can bring details of that statement.
Parliament has the power not to approve Charles Edubwai. I hold the view that Charles Edubwai, by this conduct, has demonstrated lack of capacity and fiduciary responsibility to lead the finance of our country. Let me tell you, as we speak to you, we know Ken is not well, and we wish him well, but he's not well. Tactically, Charles Edubwai has been upgraded to the position of a Minister of State for a reason, to provide the needed backstopping to the Finance Minister. And therefore, we are actually looking at somebody who could become the de facto Finance Minister of the state. And this is how he has started. So now when he becomes a Minister of State and Ken relinquishes his responsibilities to this man, can you now tell the next move and how we are going to suffer it? So I am calling on my colleagues, first on the appointment committee and the plenary, if they so recommend to us, to reject Charles Edubwai in entirety, because he is a very big danger to the finances of our country.
So that is Isaac Adongo, who spoke to the media in Parliament today, and we have a statement issued by the Public Relations Unit of the Finance Ministry, and it says, point 1, so there are 3 paragraphs that gives a background and introduction to this, and then in response it says, it is our understanding that the firms in question that the story refers to are Data Bank and Black Star Brokerage. The ministry would like to state that the claim that these 2 firms have been appointed as advisors to the Ministry of Finance is incorrect. 2. Data Bank and Black Star Brokerage are 2 out of 9 firms that have been selected by the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance as bond market specialists and not advisors to the MOF, that's the Ministry of Finance. The other firms selected to be BMS, EcoBank, Stanbic Bank, Absa, Cal Bank, GCB, Fidelity Bank, and IC Securities. As stated above, the selection of the firms was solely based on their historical performance on the bond market and no other consideration. And the third one says primary dealers are institutions authorized by the Bank of Ghana and have the exclusive right to participate in the wholesale auction of treasury bills. Bond market specialists are PDs that have the exclusive right to participate in the sale, distribution, and primary issuance by auction or otherwise, all of GOG treasury bill notes and bonds. The selection process for firms to act as PDs or BMS is based only on merit. The Ministry of Finance or the Minister or his deputies have absolutely no hand in the selection process. The process cannot be subject to any manipulation as it is based solely on historical data of trading and performance, which is the matter of public knowledge on the bond. So it gives further details. It's quite a long statement.
And Kojo, the PDs are the primary dealers and these are the bond specialists. And before you can buy treasury bills on behalf of government, even trade in that space, you need to be approved by the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance. And the claim in this statement is that these are institutions that independently were able to get the approval to trade in that space, and
because
they also
of their record
over the period as it being worked in that space. And also they claim that these 2 individuals, that is Ken Ofriatta and Charles Edubwai, have relinquished any influential positions in these companies, so they no longer work directly with these companies where they can even influence any workings.
Exactly. So that is the response from the Ministry of Finance. We'll put up the full statement later on myjoyonline.com. You can go there and read some more.
So, Kojo, that's all for our session on business news on Newsnight. Emefa missed out on it. So back to you with a lovely jacket and your iPhone watch shows how well you're paid, Emefa.
Okay, just a quick comeback for you. But we're preparing for the vetting of Charles Edubwai tomorrow, since we're talking about that. He will be vetted by Parliament's Appointments Committee on his appointed role as Minister of State for the Finance Ministry. Thank you very much, George. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'll go through some of your messages that you sent in. This one from Philip in Legon, or North Legon. It says, we are living in a country governed by the rule of law. If the board of Achimota School disagrees with the ruling of the court, it can go to the appeal court for redress. And that's exactly what they've been communicating. Yao in Achimota says, looking at the posturing of the school from day one, they have the time and luxury to litigate this case, come what may. Does the students have the same luxury? He says no. And we have one from Napoleon in Sankofa Base. He says the Ghana education system is in a mess since the High Court has ordered the Achimota School to admit these Rastafarians. Now every student can do his or her dreadlocks, he says. Well, Nana in the Spintex Road, that's where you're texting from. He says, I hate the way judgments are made in this country. Why is it okay, we are sitting on a time bomb as some boys will braid their hair in our schools, all in the name of religion. And Alfonso's in Kumasi says, we thank God that the president is trying to turn his attention to the media. The big question is whether he will ensure their independence to prevail if the media is speaking against his deficiencies. Good move though, he says. Wolanyo in Akwetia says, take the same stance with the Achimota governing body to appeal the High Court decision. If traditionalists also say his or her wars, bushy hair is their religion, where will be the code of ethics, conduct, and morality in our schools? Wolanyo in Akwetia finally says, take the same stance. Okay, I think it's the same from Wolanyo.
Let me pick two comments on Facebook. Kojo Boatin says, the president must instruct his communicators to reflect the tolerance he talks about. It is very important. And this one says, thank you very much for the stories today. Emefa, I love your jacket. That's Abdul Aziz Indo says, I love your jacket.
A yellow jacket. Thank you very much, Aziz. Now, Member of Parliament for Amenfi West, Erica Fall, is accusing national security operatives of illegally confiscating more than 3 million cedis and unknown quantities of gold from his constituent in an operation last month. The operatives, allegedly led by DSP Azugu, stormed casinos, filling stations, and other centers in Asankwigwa last month in an operation linked to illegal mining operations. Now, the operatives, dressed in multicolored clothing and wielding AK-47 gun rifle, allegedly assaulted staff of a local casino, immigration service personnel, and 2 journalists. They also allegedly destroyed CCTV footage at the casino, according to a report by the Fourth Estate and the Media Foundation for West Africa. The MP has petitioned the IGP and the Interior Minister demanding sanctions against these operatives. He dismisses claims that the operation was to deal with illegal mining.
I think the ministry and the IGP's office, they've not treated this case kindly. I expect them to have responded to my letter, officially written to me, about the action they want to take. Unofficially, let me put it this way, that they have gone to the constituency to research about what I've petitioned them. They've gone there to the scenes to unofficially investigate about whatever went on. But it's not official. They have not told me, so I won't capitalize on that.
Just to get a sense, what happened at the casino in your constituency that prompted you to then send this petition?
You see, it's not only the casino. The whole thing is beyond the casino's, incidents. You see, they attacked the residents within the community at Senkregwa, attacked shops. Information reaching me is that even a filling station over there was also attacked. So it's not a matter of...
And did they take anything from there? Like it was claimed allegedly they took money from the casino.
That is what I'm coming to say. Per the information I've gathered, they took away about 3 million Ghana cedis.
From the casino or elsewhere?
No, I think the entire operation that they did, with amount of gold, which I cannot quantify now. You understand my point? So it's not only the casino, it's about the casino and its environment. You see, what is more serious is that the divisional command and the district command of Ghana Police Service, they came to the scene and they were sacked by the team to the extent that 2 of the immigration officers were handcuffed. The MC who is in charge of the security within the municipality was not informed. came there was not allowed to make any intervention, including yourself, the media. They came there, they were tagged. As we are talking now, one of them is at the hospital. So I think they have to come out well.
But there's an argument that the Chinese were engaged in illegal mining activities. They were engaged in other illegal activities.
You see, this is what I don't want them to hide. They want to hide behind this and say that they were doing illegal activities. For that matter, they have to intervene and arrest. Let me ask them. We know in this country that if you want to make a search within somebody's premises, what do you have to do? You have to, let me say, show your warrant. You have to be in your uniform. Where are you coming from? When you see that this is in place, we allow you to do whatever you want to do. But nothing of this nature happened.
So that's the MP for Amenfi West there interacting with the parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Let's do sports. Gary Al Smith, it's what, 10 days to the Euros?
Yes, it is. I'm glad you are keeping track.
Counting down.
Yeah,
you have no idea.
I suspect you are keeping track because you know we'll be coming to take your time.
It's not true.
Because we'll be doing commentary on certain days. Anyway, it's been
like every day.
What?
Every day.
Oh no, you have to come to work.
I won't come to work.
It's not every day. We'll bring out the schedule next week.
Okay.
Right. In sports, it's been 24 hours since the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association agreed to the request of Black Stars coach Siki Akono for the appointment of a second assistant coach. Now, a lot of Ghanaians have reacted to this news, including veteran coach J.E. Sarpong. In an interview with Joy Sports, he believes that the action from Siki Akono is a stab in the back of Ghanaian coaches.
The Siki Akono, who wanted an assistant coach, and then he oversaw the need to even engage the Ghanaian coach to assist him. He went abroad to bring a white left back. So, whether they are positive or not, I think he's the only person who is the best person to tell us what we will learn from that. But I feel in so doing, he has stabbed the Ghanaian coaches at the back. Of course, the man in charge of the Black Stars, he wants to pass anywhere he wants to pass to qualify the team and get whatever credence he wants. That is his own cup of tea.
All right.
On the periphery, it's even if you listen very carefully to what the description is, it means even he doesn't even trust his assistant, the black assistant. So that's why going for the white man.
Right. So J.E. Sapon speaking there. The debate will not finish soon. Elsewhere, Mason Greenwood, Ben Godfrey, Jesse Lingard, Aaron Ramsdale, and James Ward-Prowse, Oli Watkins and Ben White have not been included in the final England squad for Euro 2020. Included is Trent Alexander-Arnold, also Reece James, Kieran Trippier, and Kyle Walker. You can see the full list on myjoyonline.com. Also trending worldwide is the news that Carlo Ancelotti has been announced as the new manager for Real Madrid. He leaves his job at Everton and he goes to the job where he's already been before. I remember Carlo Ancelotti has won titles in England, Italy, and elsewhere, but not in Spain. So he has unfinished business there.
Let's see how that goes. Gary, thank you very much for the latest in sport. And let's do some energy-related stories. Energy analysts are predicting a decline in Ghana's oil production and subsequent impact on oil revenues following the exit of U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil as an operator in the deep water Cape 3 Point block. Now, this follows the decision by ExxonMobil to relinquish its 80% stake in the deep water Cape 3 Point oil block. Already, the minority in parliament are accusing the Kufuor administration of collapsing the country's oil sector. Ranking member on the Energy and Mines Committee, John Jinapo, attributes the collapse of what he describes as underhand dealings and high level of opacity in the sector. Listen.
Well, it's a huge setback because the country is poised, according to the Minister of Finance, to produce about 600,000 barrels of oil. And in the budget statement, the minister hinged that on several other factors, including key amounts them being this ExxonMobil agreement. Because they were supposed to spend some money to explore and eventually begin production. And so their decision to exit certainly sends a wrong signal. ExxonMobil is one of the big oil companies in the world. And so if they leave your country, it certainly doesn't send a very good signal.
Well, petroleum economic analyst Dr. Theo Champon says the move by ExxonMobil doesn't come as a surprise, given the shift in the global policy to focus on renewable energy.
But we did caution government when they adopted this.
The world is changing. We've seen a big or increasing move towards decarbonization, especially on the part of the large IOCs like Exxon. And this then means that we're seeing a lot of them changing or restructuring their portfolios from projects that hitherto were marginal and focusing on the relatively bigger discoveries. So in Ghana's case, what this then really meant was that given that they had done some seismic work, but there was no major discovery discovered, of course they hadn't drilled the well as yet, it was going to be always highly likely that they may end up relinquishing the block. So it's those external factors about that increasing push for decarbonization and energy transition, and then also, of course, some of the local level factors in terms of the politics or the political economy factors that we need to take into account.
So that's Dr. Theo Champon there speaking to us on this particular. He's a petroleum economic analyst.
Time for the National Science and Maths Quiz. Emefa and contestants and students of Impresso Senior High School say they'll sing Osibise's 1971 classic song, Wayaya.
Do you know it?
Wayaya.
Okay. They said they will sing it at every contest during the 2021 National Science and Maths Quiz scheduled for October. And I'm sure we can just listen to them tell us why. Maxwell Agbagba has more.
The road to the October National Science and Maths Quiz is muddy and rough. They've survived the first hurdle on that journey, and indeed they have every reason to celebrate it. And that is how they're celebrating it in Payaso Senior High School.
The song gingers us whenever we sing it, and so it's a nice experience having it here. Okay. And we thank God for giving us a successful contest.
So are we going to see you guys singing this song anytime you win a contest?
Sure. You're going to see us.
We are doing this to honor the past students for sponsoring us, for supporting us in everything. All that we needed, they provided unto us. We are singing this song to actually celebrate them and sing their praise as well. And also,
However, what are you doing for your old school?
Ah, you see.
But what happened to La Girls, by the way?
Oh, we see that school. Why? Don't you know?
No, but for
we
the
don't
regional,
have to go through any competition. No, we don't have to go through any competition. We're already there.
Want to
we are not like
slide there. I have to go and check.
It's true. So we can check that. But earlier today, Shatawale, Dancehall King, they call him, was in the news in some row between himself and a contractor at a Dringano. In the last few minutes, he's been apologized. And listen.
Hi, my name is Shatawale, as you all know, and I believe that some news circulating around me and having fights with some contractors and like I'd say, the man in question is my dad, is my friend. This is somebody that I always wanted to meet, but it's so unfortunate, things had to happen this way. But I also want to say sorry to Kennedy, for everything that happened. I believe. You also find a place in his heart to forgive me, because.
Okay. And Gary is clearing his throat. Kwite is also around there. Well, okay, that's them. It's time for the Geek Squad. And what are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about maintaining the right tech posture while working. Techies, we sit down a lot, and it's not good for your back. Okay. I mean, I'm a victim, and so I want my fellow techies to know how to sit right, how to maintain good posture while working.
Yeah. Okay. And you know about the tech neck, right? Yeah, or
in a
text
carpool
net.
tunnel.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll be tuned in.
Sure.
Let's listen.
My name is Ernest Mina.
I am Emefa Apawu. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com.